We are going to discuss the history of the human-computer interface, or HCI. Here is the definition of an interface and the definition of a computer. Understanding what an interface is and what a computer is will help us to figure out where to start with the history of HCI. In my research, it seemed that the field of HCI and research into HCI started in 1970 to 1980, when the computer started to become the personal computer. While this is the start of the term HCI and its research, I feel we need to look a little further back. If a computer is one that computes, then would we look at the first mechanical calculator? It computes. So, couldn't we call it a computer? My point is, if we are going to talk about HCI in history, we need to look further back. Those first interfaces were purely physical, utilizing buttons, switches, cables, drums, knobs, and cranks. As computers evolved from mechanical devices into electronic, not much changed in the interface. Let's take a look at Colossus. These are images of Colossus Mark II. Not much of what we are used to. No screens, mice, or what we now use for a keyboard. Colossus was developed in the years 1943 to 1945. Not even 100 years ago. Do you know what it was used for? Breaking Nazi German encrypted communications. Here is an interesting fact about Colossus and Alan Turing. Alan Turing's machine was actually called a bomb, which was used to help decode Enigma. Alan's use of probability in cryptanalysis contributed to Colossus's design, but he didn't design Colossus. Punch cards, an important step in computer history, allowing a computer to run more than one program. Christopher Sholes patented the first practical typewriter in 1868. There is speculation that there was an earlier typewriter, patented in 1714 by Henry Mill. Not much survives today to validate this patent. What about the mouse? Douglas Engelbart invented the mouse in 1960. The screen's history starts in 1897, well before Colossus. Wait, that can't be right. Well, as you probably guessed, it wasn't what we think of today as a monitor. Carl Braun invented the CRT, or cathode ray tube, and if you know some of your history, you probably guessed that this was just a fancy vacuum tube. It was colorless, and was just used to display vector graphics. The first computer with a screen was Sage, a US military computer. Its CRT was a 48-inch vector CRT. The first commercial CRT was the Digital Equipment's PDP-1 from 1959, used in Sage. How about portable storage? Disk drives, CD, Laserdisc, DVD, USB, Blu-ray and HD DVD. Scanners. This alone could be a topic to itself. We have come from large devices to just using your phone with an app to capture the image. We also have scanners that can digitize small 3D objects to rooms, buildings, and land. Now you might say, how is portable storage and scanners related to HCI? It's how we humans input and output data from a computer. They are as much a part of HCI as your speakers and microphone are. Why do I bring up sound? Hey Siri, what's the forecast? Yup, that's right, we've been talking to computers for years. Ever dictated to Word to write an assignment or take notes? We have covered lots of hardware interfaces, and as we keep looking for easier and more intuitive ways to interact with computers, we keep finding new physical interfaces to use. This brings us to Neuralink. I am sure you have heard of it and watched a clip on YouTube, connecting the human brain directly to a computer. There is a lot of research and development going into physical interfaces that I have covered here. I want to move on to the software user interface. The first user interface was just a command line interface. The mother of all demos in 1968 changed that. As advanced as NLS was, it wasn't until 1970 when Xerox's Park Alto computer hit the market that the desktop or desktop metaphor was really developed. This was a commercial product used in offices and universities. This product influenced the development of the GUI of most preceding products. What's next? Virtual reality? Augmented reality? There is a lot of research money being bet on those two technologies. Only time will tell how they fare in the market. This wraps up my tip of the iceberg presentation on the history of the human-computer interface.